the Tom Hicks point, I would just wanted to let the A-Rod contract was one of
expand
them.
on that.
The second one was Chan-Ho Park. He gave Chan-Ho Park like $65 million back in the day. But the Soriano, the Soriano contract was from Chicago, from the Cubs.
Okay.
The Cubs gave him that $136 million. But Tom Hicks and I forget who the owner was, or the GM of the Dodgers was at the time. Kevin Brown was 34 years old, and they gave him a $100 million contract. The first $100 million contract at the time for a guy who was 34 years old. A 7-year contract. So, you know what I mean? I'm glad, you're at least seeing it, because I know you obviously have a dislike for the Yankees, but you can see that, all right, don't get me wrong, the Yankees throw their money around, and they're not afraid to go, jump out there and grab every free agent they can afford. But, it wasn't like that. They were the ones who started this. Sure. But if you even look back to the 70s and 80s, too, they were still snagging free agents then. Catfish Hunter, Reggie Jackson. But, the degree to which it's gotten to at this point today, I think, more attributed to the $250 million that A-Rod got. That paved the way for Jeter's $180 million and Manny's $180 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with agents automatically comparing themselves to other players. I think it's seen this year because Lackey's agent is automatically comparing himself to Burnett's contract. Like, regardless of the number, it's like, well, I was like him, so I should get that amount of money. So by that logic, if the Yankees gave Burnett a $400 million contract, Lackey should get that same amount.
That's what it is. It's all the market, and that's what these guys are agents. The agents are trained to do that. So Boris does best. They say he's legendary for his the paperwork that he comes into discussions with the agent, other teams and general managers. He's got stats. He can back up any point. That's his job. I can't blame Boris. The guy is, he's hard nosed and he gets the job done. But he's making commission. So any million he can tack onto a deal, that's his life. That's his money. So
absolutely,
it's doing his job.
I think, like I said, though, I think it's definitely double-edged. You got the top end where you got the Hicks and the Borises of the world, but then you got these teams at the bottom.
There's no doubt.
The way I see it, though, if you're in the bottom 10 in the league of attendance, like the Oaklands, the Torontos, the Baltimores, the Pittsburghs of the world, if your fans aren't showing up, you have no obligation to spend money. That's the way I see it. But that's also a double-edged sword. If you don't spend the money, how are you going to bring fans in?
It's true, man. It's very tough. It's really a very tough thing. You got to have the market. But then even look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is known to be a very good baseball town. Kansas City is known to be a very good baseball town. It's not like, they're,
Midway,
it's not like Tampa Bay where, they kind of just threw baseball out there and we're, hoping that a major league team would catch on. This is a town that's got roots, a long history. Roberto Clemente, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to... Pittsburgh, they did like revamp their whole stadium. They got a pretty nice stadium over there.
It's a beautiful stadium,
but
what I've heard, yeah.
I don't know, these guys, these owners take their revenue sharing and they pocket it. They don't reinvest into the team. The Yankees are not afraid to reinvest anything into the team. So
who's the owner that owns Kmart? Is that Kansas City?
I don't know.
One of them is like he probably has the most money out of anybody. And he has like a crappy team and doesn't spend any money. But anyway, one thing I want to add though, all right, you could say that baseball system's flawed, but you take like football, right, or basketball, hockey, they all have capped, right? Now, is it fair that teams of the bottom end of the league are going to have the same exact payroll as teams that draw the much more people? Like, is that a fair system too? In terms of
I think it's un-American, to tell you the truth.
In terms of
I'm serious.
In terms of competition, it's better. But if the Yankees and Mets are drawing close to 4 million people, and the Marlins are drawing less than 500,000, why should their payroll be the same?
It's not even in terms of competition. It really isn't that. Look at the Lakers and the Celtics. Look at the Lakers, the Kobe and Shaq running 3 in a row. The Spurs won. They had a borderline dynasty here too in the mid to late 2000s.
You could call that a dynasty, I think.
Yeah, it's debatable. I wouldn't call it a dynasty. You got to kind of win. I think 3 in a row you kind of need for a dynasty. But look at that. You got the top guys, the top dogs, always fighting it out there. Look at the last 10 years in baseball.
Yeah.
2000. All right, you had 2 Yankees, 2 Red Sox. Then you had your White Sox, your Phillies. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't think it's as one-sided as people make it seem. Yeah, the Yankees are in it every year, but they don't win it every year.
Yeah, that's true. But some teams they're already out of it, and I think it's very tough to watch teams. Like, look at the Cleveland Indians. I think that's one of the biggest things to look out for when we're talking about this. They traded back-to-back Cy Young Award winners. Like, how do you give your fans a reason to come to the stadium? Like, that's like if the Yankees traded CeCe and Rivera this next 2 years because they couldn't afford it. Like, how do you even do that? That's I don't know. I think that the teams that can't hold on to their players are just as bad as the higher teams signing everybody. I think that's what makes it just like Josh Johnson on the trading market. Like,
he's not on the market.
Well, whatever. Even if there was like a rumor of it, and because the Marlins do stuff like this, it's even like thought about. I think is ridiculous.
But like I said though, the Marlins, they bring in 18,000 people a game.
Yeah,
I mean, what are they going to do?
It's true. There's no point.
And they're trying to get a new stadium too.
Yeah.
Which is probably a losing battle. Although I think their thought process is they're going to get it eventually. But I mean, like you said, drawing 18,000. Why would any people in that in the state of Florida or in the city of Miami? Why would they want to finance a stadium?
Yeah.
How many jobs is it going to create? I don't know.
It's tough times right now to do all this.
But Frank, happy birthday, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, pal.
Thanks for the input.
All right. This is KG. You catch him Tuesday nights right after us with Ozmakers and, of course, his theme show, Monday nights.